going to move on to our first panel event of the morning. As I mentioned in my opening keynotes, the title and the main theme of this panel is all about Dubai's booming property sector and what the prospects hold for the next year and into the future. And we have an excellent lineup with us here today. So I'd like to start welcoming some of these speakers onto stage. We are going to start with our moderator, who is Taimur Khan, and he is the head of research in Middle East and Africa for JLL. Thank you. All right, thank you, Taimur. Please take a seat here. Thank you. And if I can please also have Fiba Ahmed, who is the Vice President of Property Sales at Beirut, to come onto stage as well, please. Thank you, Fiba. And joining her will be Diona Fadi, the Managing Director for EXP Dubai. And in addition to that, we're now getting to the thorns among the roses. Can I please have Stefan Schmid, who's the leader for AMIA at Luxor International. And our final participant is Ravi Birani, who is the MD for Annex Developments. Thank you very much. I'll now hand over to Taimur.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone, and good to see everyone here and some familiar faces. We've got a great panel here in front of us, from everyone from the sales side to the intermediaries to the developers to the fixtures and fittings to look at the renovation market. So I think to help answer that question, which is a pretty hard question, I think we get asked all the time: will the property boom continue? Will prices go down? Should I buy now? Should I buy later? It's something which is definitely on everyone's agenda. And after a really incredible year, I think it's particularly interesting to see where the market's heading. And already after a pretty strong January on record and a pretty strong February as well, it looks like we are continuing to see where the growth in the market grow pretty exponentially. And Dunia, I think one of the things that we've seen is a pretty significant increase in the number of brokers operating within the market. So from your side of things, given this growth, what does that sort of tell us about the overall health of the market?
Look, competition is always good, and the numbers only grew because the market is strong, right? There is demand. We are more on a global stage than we ever been before as a Dubai or UAE in general, now with the other Emirates coming up. So yes, we had a big growth in number of agencies, in number of agents in the industry. That brings a really good level of standards, I think. Even the agents within themselves, they want to be better, right? If you're not better, you're not going to get the business. So you elevate the standards of the market. Somehow, sometimes you do get, the bad ones, unfortunately, but that's in every industry. However, I think it pushes everyone to be more competitive, to offer better service, to have higher standards. And in terms of agencies surging, I think that's also, it's not a bad thing for the market, as long as there is, demand. But I'm just a little worried when the demand slightly settles down, then what happens to, smaller real estate or that have, not much of a support system around them or experience behind them. But I think personally that having more agents, having more agencies creates a really good competitive environment for everybody to thrive as long as the market is in a positive wave.
And for those best-in-class agents, and Ravi, I'll bring you into this as well, what are you seeing them do differently compared to the rest of the market? And Ravi, for you, what's a good agent and what's driving your relationship with agents in this market?
Thank you for asking this question. So basically, nowadays, if you see, brokers are the main key point where we are focusing on right now. Without brokers, we are literally feel that something is missing in the market. To match that strength with broker, how we sell property, we need to attract them with a lot of offers, which we create in-house. and call them to give them more opportunity to sell this product, giving them more information and knowledge, because they are very active in market, better than developers. Developers are putting such effort that we can reach at certain level of people, but when it comes to brokers, they are going beyond the limit. And hats off to them, the way they are doing in market, it's giving a lot of strength to the way real estate market here.
We call them the movers and shakers of our industry, you know? So without the brokers, there is no market, no selling, no these record transactions that you see. They actually can hype the market and they can also bring it down. So they're very important pillar of the whole ecosystem of real estate.
Fibber, as the intermediary here between this and to bridge the gap, what are you seeing in terms of how they're using the platform, how the behaviors are changing, and what's setting different brokers apart?
Thank you very much, Temur. And interesting to hear that Dunya has a phrase for the brokers. We call them the real heroes of real estate at Beirut. So what we've seen, and yes, as you mentioned, transactions are at an all-time high. On the demand side, we have seen tremendous demand for all types of properties. We cannot limit it to luxury, we cannot limit it to affordable segment. And to keep up with that demand and the supply that's coming in the market, I think brokers have done fundamentally well over the last year, constantly learning the new tricks of the trade, constantly evolving in how they approach their customers, their clients, how they upskill themselves. We run an academy to educate brokers, and we have seen like 100% attendance for over 4 to 5 times a week. And a lot of agents, we have to turn them away from the Beirut Academy doors because we're fully booked. So I think they're very committed. They are learning the skill. They are making sure they put their best foot forward by not only enhancing their skill set, but also adapting to the new tools that are available in the market, by keeping up to date with transaction trends, the tools that we have introduced with regards to evaluating the property prices. Adoption of those tools also shows me that they're fully committed to doing a great job.
And we've seen a lot of new demand come into the market across various different segments. We talk about the ultra high net worth, the millionaires coming into Dubai's market, and the various different trends that we're seeing around this. So 2-part question here. First of all, Dunya, how are you attracting these types of investors? And Stefan, what are they looking for when it comes to the internals of the property? What are you seeing which is different from where we've been in the market previously for new projects, but also for stock which might need to be renovated? What are the different trends that we're seeing? They're coming in from all over the world. Are they bringing their intricacies from their home market to the local market?
Stefan?
Okay, good. So I'm going first. So for those who saw the video, basically Grohe sells showers, toilets, faucets. So we see the trends here in Dubai for a while, and I'm a while in the market. I saw the ups and downs, and I have to say currently what we see is quite a sustainable market, because it's not just new builds, it's a lot of renovation. So if the transactions that have been mentioned, the question is how much of that is new build and how much of that is renovation. And we see in our pipeline as a manufacturer, we see a lot of project pipeline that's happening in residential as well as in hospitality, for example. But we see even more demand in our retail channel. So basically everything that has to do with renovation. So what we see especially is also that if you have a property, if you want to resell it or flip it or whatever, there is a signaling effect of what's in the bathroom or what's in the kitchen. Because normally when you come in, it's very hard to judge how's the quality of the tile, how's the quality, what's behind the wall. So Grohe has quite a strong signaling effect exactly in that luxury segment. And it's not just Grohe as such, because we also have different, as in Mercedes, they have different, you have from the G class to the C class to what have you. We also have that. So also depending on what is actually in the bathroom, you're also signaling a certain level of investment. To your question, what we see coming new in the market is especially the shower toilet. This you will see in a lot of properties in Ras Al Khaimah, because there is a lot of influx of Asian customers, and they're already used to the shower toilet. So we see there an increased demand. So if you ask me what is really coming new from other markets, that is really, for example, one of the innovations that we see.
Yeah, so to answer the question about the influx, of course, that we're having in Dubai, and I think there are various factors that play into it. One is the regulatory system, the reforms that we've seen for the past 4 years or more. Or even if I go back, and I've been part of this market for 20 years, it all started after the recession, you know, that we regulated the market, and RERA and Dubai Land Department has put their foot down and said, okay, enough is enough. Now we need to, you know, protect every stakeholder in this industry. So it started from there. However, we've seen a huge shift in, you know, last quarter of 2020, when the government had to be agile, you know, and more adaptive to what's happening in the world, and due to the pandemic and everything. So having, you know, reforms like the golden visa, the foreign ownership of businesses, that had a huge shift on everybody. Plus, of course, we cannot deny the fact that everyone enjoys the safety of this, you know, place we all call home. And we see what's happening around us in the Western world. Unfortunately, things are not going according, you know, to what we've seen before. And I think there is an imbalance now. The power and the economic growth and the future of tech and everything is kind of moving and shifting to Middle East and Asia and all. And with that, we see the trend of people coming here. Dubai, of course, is at the forefront of all this change and evolution. And also, I think the variety of the product that we have, like Fiba touched on, we're not only a luxury, you know, you can't only buy a 150 million villa in Dubai, but you can literally, with a $250,000 or $300,000, buy a small investment and get started, or even better, 5,000 dirham or 10,000 dirham, and have a fractional ownership into a small asset in Dubai that makes you a foreign investor in Dubai. So the variety of the product that people can you know, avail, the facilities that we have, the regulations and the reforms that we are seeing, and I think there is still a lot to come now with the region competitiveness coming together. I think Dubai has to kind of, again, step up and I always say this, Dubai's competition is Dubai itself. I never look at around us. Like, we really are, like, I think His Highness wakes up in the morning and say, how can we break our own records? And he does. And how can we make this better? Because for the past 20 years, I've seen things being built and redone, and, you know, reforms being introduced and then reviewed. We're not shy of that. There are no critics in terms of that. We are brave to make those changes because we are seeing the return on investment on that. Again, the location, we can go into multiple reasons, but I think primarily is the safety, the regulation, the tax-free environment that we have, and the quality of life is very important. I think with the life stress that we are experiencing, it's so nice to be somewhere where it's happy and peaceful, and, you know, everybody wakes up in the morning with a I can do attitude and being inspired. So why not? Why not be in Dubai, where you can both be super rich and you can be, you know, with a middle income and still enjoy good life?
Yeah. Ravi, hearing this, and why these people, tell us from a developer's perspective, when you get up and doing a new development, how do you think about what segment of the market to target? You know, and what are your strategies in this current market? How are you trying to sort of capture this?
So, adding to the point with Fiba, I just want to say, luxury property segment was 2024 was the period where people were focusing only on the luxury segment. Now the time is completely changed in Dubai. We are focusing on more into young professions and the people who came to Dubai with a lot of dreams, but they don't have the higher budget, because if you see the rental index in Dubai, the kind of rental increase happening in Dubai, it's going crazy day by day. So what we are looking now, we are focusing on the strategies where we can give the comfort to the buyer, where they can feel I'm paying something, but it is not hitting my pocket at the same time. So adding to that point, we as at Annex Development, we decided to come with the strategy to give 30-70 payment plan, which is a key driven in the market. Like nowadays, if you see any other developers are focusing on these strategies so that the buyer can pay a very little amount and they feel happy at the time of delivery, they will pay huge amount of money. And the best part about this off-plan properties and strategy is when you pay 30%, let's say you are moving to Dubai, right? Freshly you moved into Dubai and you want to buy a property. You don't have any bank record or something. You want to create your bank history. Pay 30% down payment over the period of construction, and then you create your, CBIL report and records in the bank. Make the good relationship with the bank. At the time of delivering the property, you will not have any hustle, any problems. So I think these strategies are giving us a lot of strength to develop more in Dubai. Yeah.
How quickly do you expect that middle income segment to continue growing? And what does your project pipeline look like as a result?
Now we are about to launch another 4 projects by end of, let's say May, because we are still in developing strategies, how we go into market. The key factor areas which we are focusing now is Medan, Dubai Island, and then after we are focusing on Varsan. Varsan is not a very big project, but somehow we need to create identity that we are everywhere. The next area which we are focusing on, Motor City, probably Dubai Investment Park, because I can see a lot of potential there, and I'm looking to buy a lot of properties there so that we can develop a community, because you only miss in those areas community, which we are, if you go in with the large scale of ideas and plans, these areas are the key points where you can sell your property like anything. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of that demand figure, you probably have access to the most intricate detailed data on where people are coming from, what they're looking at. Give us an idea of the different types of influx from different countries, where people are looking from, the types of products that they're looking at, particularly something on the secondary market as well, what we're seeing happening within there.
So I agree with what Ravi mentioned, and building on to what I mentioned earlier, in Dubai you have something for everyone, be it foreign investors, be it middle income or affordable segment. Just to add to areas where Ravi and his team is looking to bring inventory to the market, what we see in that segment, areas that have performed really well are your Arjans, Majan area, and of course JVC is a hot favorite. Now when we look at international investors, one key thing that stood out for me when I was reading the data was that 40% of the total off-plan traffic is coming from foreign countries. Now when we talk about foreign countries, we think of the usual that Dubai is a very hot favorite for Indian nationalities, but there are certain other countries that have been keenly looking at properties on our platform: US, UK, Germany, Russia, and we have France and Netherlands. These countries have significantly increased in terms of visits on our platform for properties. Now, when we talk about what kind of properties they're looking at, I think I addressed it by saying that 40% of our visits on off-plan is from international market. Ready market, in my opinion, and based on the data we've observed, has seen a massive shortage of supply in the last year. And due to this shortage of supply, certain pockets, certain areas, which have been upgraded, renovated, have managed to go up in prices by up to 37%. Jumeirah Island, which I was just talking to Dunya and you guys before the panel, I mean, Jumeirah Island was here when I moved here, good 2 decades ago, right? And for the last, I would say 6-7 years, we were always talking about Dubai Marina, downtown, and all of these upcoming areas, and very popular areas too. Jumeirah Island saw a 37% average listed price increase last year, and asked me why. It's because of shortages of supply and people upgrading their villas. There's a concept living. It is considered to be a luxury segment of the market. Definitely with tightening of supply in the ready segment and the launches that happened last year and the year before, expected to be delivered around 2026, 2027, we continue to see 25% on an average increase in ready property listed, whereas on the offline side, we see about 15% price increase from communities that were launched in 2023 and coming into 2024. We do see a very attractive opportunity where all the villa communities that were launched in the last year, the likes of Oasis by Emaar, The Acres, Dubai Island, then you also have Palm Jebel Ali. These areas have seen tremendous interest locally as well as internationally. And yeah, villa communities are really the go-to when we look at what is going to come in the market in the future. Currently, on the ready side, anything that's upgraded, anything that's renovated can easily get you up to 20 to 30% higher than what it would get you if it's not.
Stefan, that's quite significant increases, 20 to 30%. But I guess the biggest issue, which I keep hearing about, is there's a lack of contractors. There's issues in getting stock in the market. Give us some insights on that supply chain, on the challenges that your industry might be facing.
So maybe also to pick on a couple of points that FIBA mentioned, if you have your international clientele that looking at your property, so for example, you mentioned the Netherlands, Germany, France, Gro is basically the market leader in these markets. So what you then often have, when they come here, they have a familiarity when they look at the products, when they basically look at the property, they okay, fine. That is a familiar brand to me, so it must be good. So you basically have this nice link, and this is also what we see, depending, of course, where the designer comes from. So there is this whole familiarity topic. To your question, the execution is very important, especially renovation. Currently finding a good contractor, I don't know who had discussions with contractor, that's a hard one. So that's also why from a grower perspective, our products are quite easy to install. So that is basically where our support comes from. And also what we're trying to do really is to educate the contractors and the builders. So for example, if you have a big property project, we send our people on the building site, they train them to really help them to execute, because we all know there is often in the morning he's a painter, in the afternoon he's a plumber. So there we always have to make sure that there's the right point there. Just maybe one other point important there, if we talk about sustainability, not in terms of a boom, what we also see in terms of renovation, so the renovation boom not just started recently, it happened a couple of years. So we could see in the beginning of that boom 4 or 5 years ago, it was like, I call it cheap and cheerful, fine, just renovate, put in whatever you want. And I think what a lot of the clientele or also the people in this renovation started realizing, I have to change all that after 2 years, or I have to throw it away. Or I have, for example, a faucet and the coil comes off, where do I find the spare parts? Or you don't manufacture it anymore. So what we see is also trend a bit back to quality there, and that also has a big impact on sustainability. So I think it depends how you manufacture your products. I mean, I think Lixil and also Grohe, we basically, in terms of water and energy inputs, we're very keen on that. But then on the other hand, also the life cycle of your product. It's not the price that you pay at the day you buy it. It's what's the life cycle cost of your product. And if you have a water-saving, energy-saving faucet or shower at home, you will feel it in your DIVA bill. So that is basically the call to action from my side. But no, I think there is, back to your question on the contractors, it is from our side, we try to support and help the contractors and also the developers in educating and also training the people on site. This is basically where we're really trying to help.
And Ravi, are you seeing pretty continued escalation in contractor pricing from a developer perspective at the moment?
Obviously, because the kind of projects are coming in Dubai, and each and every contractor know in the market now how many developers are moving to Dubai. Can you imagine last year, 2024, more than 500 developers had been registered on DLD, and they are planning to launch projects one by one. The main issue is the developer are chasing to the bigger developers so that they become another developer in the market. But the strategy and planning is not there. to see all these launching, a lot of launching projects in Dubai, now the contractors are increasing their price, not because of the material price is high, but they can see the demand, how developers are reaching out to them and they are asking them the quotations. So based on that, they are increasing their price. And I can see a lot of increment in the price in future. Definitely, yeah. It's not going to be lesser than any soon. Yeah.
So we were asked to answer one question, which we've sort of gone around, talked about the demand side of things, supply. So I'm going to be pretty direct on this. And Stefan, I'll start off with you, considering I think you've seen most of the property cycles here. So will the boom continue, and what does the next 2 years look like?
So looking at our pipeline, because obviously when there's a project specified, we know it 18 to 24 months in advance. So we work with the A&Ds, we work with the designers. So for example, we see a very healthy pipeline for the next 18 to 24 months, what we can see. If it's then executed, it's a different story. But for now, our outlook there is actually quite healthy. And we can also see from the product mix that's in there, the trend towards more color faucets and also towards more our high-end series. We see exactly in what direction the whole market is currently moving. So from our perspective, the next 18 to 24 months looks very solid, actually.
Dunya?
I would share the same sentiment with Stefan. I think this year is going to be big on off-plan, 2025, and I think we will walk with that into 2026 as well. However, we all know that real estate business, or it's a cycle. It's cyclic. It has to go up and it has to come down. And when I say come down, there is not going to be like what we've experienced in the past, because our economy is diversified, our population is higher. The demand is still there. In fact, there are a lot of people sitting by the sidelines waiting for correction because they've been priced out of buy-in right now. So I do see a healthy, but we're gonna come to a time where the supply is gonna overwhelm us, and then we will be seeing a slight correction in price, and of course a strategy change in terms of how developers go about their projects. But overall, I think for the next same 18 months, maximum 24 months, we will have still a steady flow of projects coming.
Ravi, and I'm going to add one question on to you. How would your strategy change in, let's say 15 months' time, you see a bit of a correction happening? How does your strategy change within the market?
To add on to the point, Stephen and Hiba, I agree with them. I cannot see any correction in near future for next 2 years. At the same time, of course, you are right at your point. We need to think about the worst case scenario, what can happen. For that, we are also prepared. A strategy is, just to slow down, not to launch any project until you see the market is again picking up, not the time when the market is picked up, but you need to always watch on the line when the market is starting picking up. So we will definitely make the strategy when it times comes. We are already prepared for that.
Understood.
Yeah.
I've left you to last on purpose. First of all, your answer to that question, number one. Number two, you have a valuation tool. What does that show us in terms of where valuations have been in the last few months? Because that's normally a lot more indicative. That's before people buy, before it's recorded. And what does that look like in the immediate future?
So, in a nutshell, I think, yes, for 24 months into what we're looking at today, we're going to continue to see a very hot market. Launches last year were roughly about 137,000 units that came to the market, right? And they're going to start construction and be handed over. So I would say for the next 2 years, we're going to continue to see activity. Demand side is looking very healthy. And for a market where 43% of the properties are owned by foreigners, I think that is a very, very strong indicator of trust and the credibility of the market. And if we continue to build on the momentum that we've gained with government intervention of regulating the market, bringing more transparency, us providing data tools like True Estimate, which is our evaluation tool, which is endorsed by Dubai Land Department as well, because It showcases, based on an AI model, what property prices are listed and what are people keenly transacting in the market. We have seen prices stabilize over the last year as compared to 2023. I remember every time I would meet my friends for a chat, or when I'm asked, people say Dubai prices are eye-watering. I would say last 12 months, they became a little more digestible. So that shows correction, stability, and couple it with demand being very, very strong, not only by the people who live here, but also foreigners. We're going to have very healthy 2 years, and after that, when more supply comes in, we would see price correction.
I think the best advice, or someone mentioned it a couple of days ago, is time it for yourself and not for the market. I think that's probably the most sensible advice that you can get in the here. If
Absolutely.
it works for you, then yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you have so many options here that you can choose from. There are options which are available for investment, for your own use, or for future price appreciation. So there's something for everyone, and there are tools out there to help you make the best decision.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. I think Gareth is nudging us slightly. If you would please give a round of applause to our wonderful panelists.
Great. Thank you, Tamer, for hosting such an excellent session, and thank you, everybody, for participating. So we can quickly open the floor for a few questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We've probably only got time for 1 or 2. So please raise your hand if you do want to ask a question, and I'll give you the microphone. Well, you guys have clearly done your job. So thank you very much. I'll leave it at that. Please, a round of applause for all our panelists. Thank you so much.